Welcome to Professional Development for Write for College, a handbook for juniors and seniors in high school. As you can see from the back cover, Write for College has 5 main sections: the process of writing, the forms of writing, the tools of learning, the proofreader's guide, and the student almanac. The process of writing focuses on pre-writing, writing, revising, editing, and publishing. It also covers the basics of sentences, paragraphs, and essays. The forms of writing include the major modes: personal, narrative, explanatory, argument, literary, and creative. There's also a whole section on research, including MLA and APA research papers. You'll find separate chapters on writing in science, writing in social studies, writing in math, and writing in the workplace. The Tools of Learning section focuses on the skills that students need to succeed in all of their classes, including reading, listening, speaking, note-taking, and succeeding on tests. The Proofreader's Guide includes rules and examples for punctuation, mechanics, idioms, usage, the parts of speech, and sentences. You'll also find an almanac with pages on language, science, mathematics, social studies, and history. Let's look at this chapter in the process section, pre-writing. Students learn many strategies for selecting a topic, including journal writing, free writing, clustering, dialoguing, and so on. They take a closer look at free writing, and then start to focus on a topic. Students learn to ask different sorts of questions to gather details, and use graphic organizers to visualize them. They also learn a powerful strategy for rhetorical analysis: purpose, audience, subject, and type. And they learn how to write an effective thesis statement, and then support it with details. Let's take a look at one of the forms chapters, argument writing. Students do the rhetorical analysis for arguments, the purpose, audience, subject, and type, and they think through the traits of an effective argument with ideas, organization, voice, and so on. They consider debatable issues that they can write about. They learn how to make and support claims and how to use logic, avoiding logical fallacies. Then they receive guidelines for writing a form, in this case an editorial. They can read 2 examples, a point and counterpoint. Instead of an editorial, they might want to write a personal commentary or an argument essay. Side notes point out the key features of each model essay. We have guidelines and models for position papers, and also responding to an argument prompt. You see the rhetorical analysis that students have learned with purpose, audience, subject, and type. This approach helps them to quickly analyze a writing prompt on a high-stakes test, and then come up with an on-target response. Students consider sample argument prompts and the graphic organizers that they might use to get their ideas pulled together. Finally, the chapter ends with a rubric that you and your students can use to assess work. Here in the Tools section, let's take a look at this chapter on reading graphics. It uses that same tool for rhetorical analysis: purpose, audience, subject, and type, and helps students to critically view many different types of graphics, such as photos and artwork, advertisements and graphs, and tables, diagrams and flowcharts, and also maps. Now let's take a look at the Proofreader's Guide. It has sections on punctuation, mechanics, idioms, usage, the parts of speech, and using the language. This first page provides rules and examples for periods. Then we see question marks, exclamation points, and commas. There are sections on idioms and using the right word, as well as the parts of speech, such as nouns and pronouns. Finally, we have the Student Almanac with sections on language, science, mathematics, social studies, and history. High-interest topics and graphics help inspire students to write across the curriculum. This historical timeline features key events in literature and the arts, science and inventions, and U.S. and world history. Now let's take a look at the free online Teacher's Guide. It's accessible on any device with access to the internet, and no login is required. Simply go to k12.thoughtfullearning.com and click on Teacher's Guides. You'll arrive at a page that is full of teacher's guides. You can watch a video to get started. Getting started with your free online teacher's guide. If you are working with one of Thoughtful Learning's student writing handbooks, you may have noticed that there is a free online teacher's guide. And then scroll down to the Write for College teacher's guide. In this table of contents, you see a scope and sequence, year-long timetable, getting started activities, chapter-by-chapter guide to the student handbook, assessing writing, research basis, and activities and handouts. Let's take a look at the year-long timetable. This suggested year-long timetable presents one possible sequence of writing and language skills units based on a 5 days per week class. In week 1, you might want to try some getting started activities. This page is full of scavenger hunts and other fun activities to help your students become acquainted with their handbooks. You'll download a document that opens in Word, and then you can distribute it digitally for students to work on, or print it out and have them fill it out by hand. Let's go back to the year-long timetable. After we do some getting started activities, we can cover the page called Why Write, and then launch into journal writing. We see a page on keeping a journal that includes a mini lesson that we can use to help students start their own journals. In week 2, we can teach one writer's process. Clicking that link takes us to the chapter-by-chapter guide for the student handbook. Here in chapter 1, One Writer's Process, we see the opening page, as well as a startup activity, a think about it quotation, and the state standards that are covered in this chapter. Then page by page you receive support for teaching the material, along with more mini lessons. So in week 2 we do One Writer's Process as well as writing complete sentences. Then in week 3 we teach the traits of writing, with page by page support. Then high school juniors can write a personal narrative. And high school seniors can write a personal essay. And we continue teaching about writing clear sentences. Let's go back to the table of contents. So we've seen the year-long timetable, the getting started activities, and the chapter-by-chapter guide to the student handbook. Let's take a look at assessing writing. This page includes all sorts of rubrics that you can use to assess writing. Narrative, explanatory, argument, response, story, poem, report, and research paper. It also links to pages on writing assessment for students, the traits of effective writing, using writing rubrics, and so on. Back in the table of contents, let's take a look at activities and handouts. This page shows all the downloads that you can get from the teacher's guide to teach the various material that you have in the student handbook. Cause-effect organizers, problem-solution webs, timelines, evaluation collection grids, and so on. Well, that's a lot to remember, but it's summarized on a sheet that you can refer to anytime you need. Once again, go to k12.thoughtfullearning.com, click on Teacher's Guides, scroll down to the Write for College Teacher's Guide, and then click Download a Write for College program sheet. The first page summarizes the 2 parts of the program, the Write for College Student Handbook, and a free online teacher's guide. The second page gives a simple 3-step process for getting started. Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3. Thank you for joining us for this professional development for Write for College. We hope it helps you teach writing and helps your juniors and seniors finish high school strong and launch into the next big adventure.